big shows ain't gonna catch no fame, cause I'm worth too many M's, you dig? Hey, what's going on, man? They say something
Nah,
from the hood.
you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood.
You ain't from the hood, Joe Biden.
Niggas always claim to say blood ain't from the hood. Hell nah. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Oh, I live in the hood, ass nigga. Never got put on, always claiming the hood though. Oh, you fucking with the homegirl, but don't come to the hood with none of your damn homeboys. They don't get a pass. Had the little homies press they ass for your tattoos. Hey, your mama waking up to some bad news. The plug saying groove, I'm a dime. I was long in the skinny nigga with the braid, took a 2-man fade. I'm really from the hood. I took a fucking break to get my money right, but I was banging on the plane in the meeting with Jermaine. They like, poet, oh you bang? They forgot where I came from. I was gang banging when it wasn't fun. Homie doing life right now, cause we don't play from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. So you ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to say blood ain't from the hood. Hell nah. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. And that goes for these hoes too. Start fucking on niggas and throwing these niggas hood up. Ha, little dot dot. Heard you gave a homie head in the trap spot. Got a throwaway in the stash spot. Boy, you not real, like a Sasquatch. Boy, I'm so high, I'm seeing astronauts. Boy, I ball hard, I need a mascot. Oh, and Swahili, I'm a damu. My little cousin making paru. My nigga Uzi.
Thank you for the donation, no code, but I'm gonna send you.
Gang signs out the window when we drive coupes. Making money with some crips like it's 92. Banging on tracks, banging on tracks. Back in my days, it was banging on. You ain't from the hood. Nah, you ain't get put on, you ain't from the hood. So, you ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood. Niggas always claim to say blood ain't from the hood. Hell nah. You ain't never got put on, you ain't from the hood.
Fuck Chris Brown, nigga. Pull up in the hood right now, nigga. Catch a fade, nigga. Fuck, nigga. Frogs.
You ain't from the hood.
What's up, everybody up in the building? I hit you with a double whammy today. Y'all paying for this shit, so I gotta keep on giving it to you. I gotta keep on giving you the skits. I gotta keep on giving you the lives because I gotta get my numbers up. And the only way to get my numbers up is to keep on doing these damn videos. And the people will find me. You know what I'm saying? Keep on doing these videos. I got new material. I got new added on content I'm finna start doing and everything. You know what I'm saying? I got a couple of niggas on inflation skit I'm finna put up Friday, and then I'm going with the abortion, black women on what they think about abortion. Every week, every Friday, I'm gonna try to hit you with a new special documentary from the streets, and then after that, I'll probably hit you with the homeless documentary. Oh, I'm gonna tear the Democrats' ass up. I'm gonna go down the line. It's gonna be I'm gonna do a documentary every week. Then I'm probably doing a game show on the same day. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing like that, I'm gonna get my time, create the right material, and all that. Special shout out, you know what I'm saying? First of all, let me give a shout out to the people that's going to make this happen. Special shout out to Beth Roberts up in house. And Tom always got some crazy shit to say. Is Tom always got some Is Tom up in the building? Tom not up in the building right now. Tom always got some crazy shit to say up in here. Who else we got? We got Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. I got you in the skit coming up real soon. I'm gonna put you up in that niggas with Trump and Biden, right? Also, Linda Smallwell, who sent me donations through my P.O. box. She sent me a birthday donation. She sent me a what's up donation. She sent me a this is for you donation. She sent it to the P.O. box. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Linda Smallwell. Also, thank you who sent me some money to my P.O. box with a little cards and birthday cards and money and shit like that was Sharon. Thank you for sending that money to my P.O. box, Sharon. I appreciate the donation, Sharon. Also, the nigga secretary, we got it. We want Maisha Greenwood, Jeffrey Yance. We're going to go run through this. Also, Island Anderson donated twice to a ninja, right? But we finna get into this. Joe Biden is the worst president ever? Could it be Joe Biden is the worst president ever? We don't know, but we finna find out, right? And numbers don't lie, so we're gonna go by the numbers, and we're gonna go by the actual presidencies. We're gonna go by them too. Let's get into it. Is Joe Biden the worst president ever? Ever.
Ronald Reagan used to ask the question, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago?
Hell no.
Ronald Reagan used
hell no, I'm not better off now than I am 4 years ago. Matter of fact, I am in certain ways, thanks to MAGA. You feel me? I am better off. But not because of Joe Biden. I'm better off 2 years ago than I was today. When Donald Trump was in office 2 to 3 years ago, I was better off. 4 years ago, I wasn't better off. I was doing bad. Under the Trump administration, I wasn't a liberal, but I still had liberal views, damn it. And 4 years ago, damn it, I transformed for the better good. Now I'm living the life. Huh? And thanks to MAGA, 2 years ago, I was living my best life. I was living my best life. I wasn't going back and forth with no liberals. I living my best life. I was doing that shit. I wasn't going back and forth with no liberals. Ha!
Used to ask the question, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago?
In 1 year, the American economy had spun out of control.
That's under Jimmy Carter. In 1 year, right? We compare it to Joe Biden 1 year, right? Both economies have spiraled out of control. So they both are tied right here. Jimmy Carter won. Well, who up in here? Is it? Hold on, is my nigga Sergeant Mode up in the Sergeant Mode? We need to get up on here. We need to keep scoring this shit, right? You know what I'm saying? The nigga press secretary need to get up on here so we can do this shit, right? But 1-1, Joe Biden fucked up the country in 1 year, and Jimmy Carter fucked up the country in 1 year. They 1-1. They're tied right now.
Had spun out of control.
Some of the roots of the inflation are outside of our control, to state the obvious. But there are things we can do and we can address.
Joe Biden said, inflation is out of my control. I ain't got shit to do with it. If it go up to 100, damn it, I ain't got nothing to do with it. It's a Vladimir Putin price increase, inflation. I ain't got nothing to do with it.
So I'll ask the question, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Is the country better off today than it was 4 years ago under President Trump?
Hell no. We had cheaper gas. Right? We wasn't at war with no countries. Right? Food was down. Jobs was around. Right? We wasn't worried about unemployment for black people was low. It wasn't this many mass shootings going on every damn where. The crime wasn't that high. The immigrant situation wasn't that bad. Hell yeah, the country was better off 4 years ago.
Good evening. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks since I became president.
On February 2nd, Carter addressed the nation in a fireside chat on energy.
What is Joe Biden talking about now? Jimmy Carter was talking about energy. What is Joe Biden talking about now? Energy. They still talking about the same thing. Jimmy Carter was talking about the same thing Joe Biden talking about. Or Joe Biden was talking about the same thing Jimmy Carter was talking about. They the same nigga.
Was asked if he would be willing to sacrifice some economic growth, even if it displaced blue-collar workers, in the interest of transitioning to a greener economy.
Remember with Joe Biden, let go all them coal workers for the Green New Deal? I remember all them people we put on the unemployment line for the Green New Deal? Him and Jimmy Carter was fighting for the same energy shit, right? They would let motherfuckers go for the same energy. Him and Jimmy Carter are the same person.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes, because the opportunity for those workers to transition to high-paying jobs, as Tom said, is real. So let me be clear. That includes helping revitalize the economies of coal, oil, and gas and power plant communities.
Speaking of gas, Captain Kirk just gave me a dub for gas, right? I could buy 2.5 gallons of gas. Thank you, Captain Kirk, because you know I could buy 3 gallons. Yeah, 3 gallons, Kirk. 3 gallons. I got 3 gallons of gas with Captain Kirk. Good looking out, Captain Kirk, huh? But Joe Biden and Jimmy Carter, they both had energy and gas problems, was part of their inflation, huh? Joe Biden is the new Jimmy Carter, damn it. You hear me, Captain Kirk? Joe Biden is the new Jimmy Carter, Captain Kirk. I ain't bullshitting. Watch this.
We have to start by creating new good-paying jobs, capping those abandoned wells, reclaiming mines, turning old brownfield sites into new hubs of economic growth, creating new good-paying jobs in those communities where those workers live, because they help build this country.
And now you helping destroy the country. Remember, we finna close down all them mines, all them coal mines. Y'all can get on the computer. Y'all can learn data management. Y'all ain't got to be working in no coal. Y'all can learn word processing.
Toward the end of our administration, Joe's going to determine what the jobs of the future are.
Joe Biden is going to determine what the jobs of the future are. You think he not when he is? Union jobs, clean energy jobs, good paying jobs. Joe Biden is going to control who works and who not. He already said it.
The future are. We're never going to forget the men and women who dug the coal and built the nation. We're going to do right by them. Make sure they have opportunities to keep building the nation in their own communities and getting paid well for it. While the whole of government approach is necessary, though, it's not sufficient. We're going to work with mayors and governors and tribal leaders. Anybody could go down 300 to 3,000 feet in the mine.
Anybody can go in the mine. We finna take their jobs. But now you got to learn how to word process. You can go down in the mine, but now your ass got to learn how to word process, because we finna take your jobs.
1,000 feet in the mine sure and hell can learn how to program as well.
Where they fight inflation, they should be encouraged. Where they are unnecessary, they should be removed.
Anybody who can throw coal into a furnace can learn how to program, for God's sake.
Any program is unnecessary, they should be removed. That's what Jimmy Carter said, and that's what Joe Biden did, huh? Jimmy Carter and Joe Biden is the same person. We're going to remove anything unnecessary to climate and energy. Huh? Coal mine's not necessary. Huh? Gas is not necessary. We're going to take them for clean energy.
The country had been through an oil scare in 1973.
We're going through an oil scare right now in 2022, thanks to Joe Biden. Huh? Jimmy Carter was going through one then. Guess what? We're going through one now. They're the same motherfucker.
To head off a new crisis, Carter appealed directly to Americans to rally around a new program.
To say,
what? A new program? What did Joe Biden got? A new program. What is that program called? The Rescue Plan, the Build Back Better Plan, the all kind of damn plans, huh? Joe Biden got a plan to get us out of recession. Jimmy Carter had a plan to get us out of recession. Guess what? Neither one of them worked. They put us more in recession.
It gave the people just a little bit of breathing room. Unlike the $2 trillion tax cut passed in the previous administration that benefited the top 1% of Americans, the American Rescue Plan helped working people.
Gasoline prices had more than doubled.
Huh? How many did gasoline prices more than double? People were paying $25 to fill up their car, now they're paying $75. If you're paying $75, now you're paying $225. It done tripled. Huh? It done more than double. It done tripled under Joe Biden. So under Joe Biden, gas has went up more than under Jimmy Carter. So I guess a score one for Joe Biden as the worst president ever. Huh? Because his is tripled and it's still rising. Jimmy Carter's only doubled. Huh?
Second big reason for inflation is Vladimir Putin. From the moment he put his over 150,000 troops on the Ukrainian border, the price of gasoline in January went up 75 cents.
Well, Jimmy Carter didn't have no Vladimir Putin to blame. He didn't have that to blame. He had to blame, put all that shit on himself, right? Joe Biden lying and putting it on him. So we got to give Joe Biden another point for the worst president ever. So Joe Biden is up by 2 points right now, huh? Joe Biden is up by 2 over Jimmy Carter as the worst president ever.
Mortgage rates pushed 20%. Unemployment kept on rising.
Well, unemployment kept on rising. We're going to say Joe Biden say his numbers are great with unemployment because everybody coming back to the job they had, right? So we're going to say Joe Biden winning that one. So we're going to give Jimmy Carter a point. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to say Joe Biden is up by 1. We're going to play it fair. We're going to give Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt. We're going to say Joe Biden created more jobs in the inflation than Jimmy Carter. So Jimmy Carter, you got a point right there. Joe Biden is up by 1.
Everything the radical left touches turns into a catastrophic mess.
All of us must learn to waste less energy. Simply by keeping our thermostats, for instance, at 65 degrees in the daytime and 55 degrees at night, we could save half the current shortage of natural gas.
Ain't that what this nigga talking about with the solar power? Get your solar panel. This nigga telling you how to heat your house. Joe Biden telling you how to cool your house down, right? So who should get a point on that? Hold on. Who to send me a donation? I was like, I'm an infidel. What's up with it? Another gallon. Hey, I gonna need $2 more. Somebody got, hey, gas, how I gotta, hey, I'm an infidel. I gotta drive to East LA to get gas for $5.99. I gotta burn $15 worth of gas to go buy gas that's $5. Ain't that a bitch? I gotta burn gas to go buy the cheap gas. Huh? I'm an infidel. Ain't that a bitch? Huh? But Joe Biden had a worse problem than him. So if we're gonna go on the worst one on Joe Biden, we say Joe Biden up by 1
of natural gas.
Okay, now the one I want to say, right now, who should win this one, right? Should Joe Biden get a point, or should Jimmy or Carter get a point, right? Because one talking about cooling your house down, we're gonna use a thermostat to cool your house down, and don't use the thermostat at night. And one telling you, we're going to have some fucking blackouts, right? Because we want the clean energy, and we ain't got that shit right now in infrastructure, right? So we're going to have some rolling blackouts, and some motherfuckers going to lose their power. Who going to get a point on this one? Is Biden going to go back up by 2, or Jimmy Carter talking about turn your damn thermostat down in the daytime and save energy? We all can save energy. Who get the point? Oh, I see Joe up. Joe up 1. I see, what's that? Was that Connor Coop say, Joe? Okay. Somebody say get that one to Jimmy. No, you can't go 2 ways. If we're going to get that one to Joe, or we're going to get that one to Jimmy. Is Joe tied, or is Joe up by 2? Is Jimmy tied, or is Joe up by 2? Because remember, Joe up by 1 right now as the worst president ever. We're going to go ahead and get that to, hold on. Anybody else want? What do Joe Biden and Jimmy Carter have in common? They both have to put their teeth in before eating oatmeal. Damn. That's bad right there. We're gonna say it's a tie again. We're gonna go back to a tie. We're gonna get this to Jimmy Carter, talk about turn your damn thermostat down and don't use no AC if you got AC and you can afford it. Ain't that a bitch?
The likes of which we have never seen before. To this extent, we have never seen anything like it before.
Clean energy. The tax cuts for families to make their homes more energy efficient. That's what it results in.
If we learn to live thriftily and remember the importance of helping our neighbors, then we can find ways to adjust.
Biden and the congressional Democrats triggered massive inflation. They declared war on American energy.
They declared war on American energy, American gas, and American people. They declared war on everybody. Joe Biden administration is the most crooked administration ever. Huh? They declared war on everybody. Americans. But they... Oh, American milk $5. FJB. Huh? We got the chat going crazy.
They declared war on American energy.
I met with nearly a dozen CEOs of America's largest utility companies, such as Southern Company and American Electric Power. They told me that if we pass the investments, they'll immediately lower the average family's energy cost by about $500 a year.
Look at them. Both of them talking about saving people money by cutting your energy out. Cut your energy out. Use less energy and save more money. Both of them dirty sons of bitches. Huh? No, produce more energy.
As the head of the new office.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca Gillard. I see the donation up in there. Thank you, Rebecca. What did Rebecca say? TBH, I would take $5 gas right now. Ha! Rebecca, people out here would destroy some shit for $5 worth of gas right now, huh? $5 worth of gas out here? the line will be around the line will be around the corner for $5.50 worth of gas. Huh? You can put 50 extra cents on there for us, and we'll be happy. Matter of fact, make it $6 because right now, the cheapest you can find is like $6.11. Everything like $6.79, $6.59 up in them areas, right? The closest you can find is like $6.11. I gotta go way to Gardena, 10 miles to get that. Huh? That's the cheapest in LA. $6.
My national climate advisor, Gina, will chair the National Climate Task Force, made up of many members of our cabinet, to deliver a whole-of-government approach to the climate crisis. It's not time for small measures.
Both of them had big measures for climate crisis. How the both of them got big measures for climate crisis and the well-being of the American people when they're in a energy crisis and the gas crisis? They went, I'm more concerned about the well-being of Americans.
Need to be bold. That would help a lot. That'd make up for a lot. In the long run, it would help families make America truly energy independent. So in the future, American families are no longer subject to the whims of a dictator, half a world away controlling oil. It's not just utility bills, though.
It's not just utility bills. And look what Jimmy Carter do, right? Right? Joe Biden telling you, right, it's a dictator fault, right? And there's nothing he can do about your energy costs, right? Jimmy Carter say, well, it's something I can do, and it's something we all can do. We can unplug our TVs. We can unplug our air conditioners. We can cut off our newspaper subscriptions. We can cut a lot of shit out. You know what I'm saying? Just like Joe Biden say, I can't help you with gas, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a lot of other shit. I'll help you cut out a lot of other shit, right? Jimmy Carter, right? So who going to get a point on this, right? Jimmy Carter actually said, I'm going to take it into my own hands and I'm going to sacrifice too. And Joe Biden say, I'm not sacrificing shit. You motherfuckers better get clean energy. You motherfuckers better get gas, electric cars. I'm not sacrificing shit. Huh? Which one get the point? I think Joe Biden get the point, right? Because Joe Biden say he ain't sacrificing shit. Huh? You better get clean energy. Solar panels. Right? Right? Jimmy Carter said, I'm going to sacrifice. Joe Biden said, hell no, you going to sacrifice. I'm not sacrificing shit.
Carter led by example. He curtailed the use of limousines, canceled magazine subscriptions, unplugged television sets, and put the presidential yacht, Sequoia, on the auction block.
That nigga put shit up for auction like a crackhead.
Families all across America are hurting because of inflation. I understand what it feels like. I come from a family where when the price of gas or food went up, we felt it. It was a discussion at the kitchen table.
See, now that's some disrespectful shit, right? Joe Biden said, that was my old days. Back in the days when gas was high, we discussed it. Well, we don't have them discussions no more because I don't pay for gas. You got to give Joe Biden that point because Joe Biden said, I don't pay for shit no more. Jimmy Carter said, look, I'm finna cut my plane out. I'm finna ride commercial. I'm finna cut the limousine cars. I'm finna drive a regular car. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna do all that shit. Joe Biden said, I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm not doing none of it.
There are just so many forces at work. When inflation becomes rampant, interest rates are high, and the business cycle is turning against you.
They've turned against Joe Biden right now. Now, this is Jimmy Carter. Now, you probably can't tell the difference because the stories damn near sound the same.
Becomes almost impossible.
And Putin began amassing troops along the border, and guess what? The world took notice. And those of you who work in the business know that the market anticipated. Prices went up more. And then Putin invaded. Make no mistake, inflation is largely the fault of Putin. I love, the Republicans saying it's Biden's gas pipeline. Biden said he's going to stop the Keystone pipeline, and I did.
Biden said I was going to stop the Keystone pipeline, and I did. You dirty son of a bitch.
And that's the reason prices went up. Folks, let's get something straight here. The Keystone pipeline was 2 years away.
So if it was 2 years away, that means it would have been finished in about 3 more motherfucking months, right? And that means them gas companies and executives would have been able to invest in gas and to pump more gas that's coming from Canada, right? So 2 years from when your ass had this speech would have been about probably about 3 to 5 months right about now. We'd have more gas, asshole.
2% finished. Give me a break.
Well, let's take a look at these dismal numbers, and we're still heading south. Consumer prices, the price that you pay, rose 8.5% in March. 8.5%, that's the highest in 40 years.
Of all the problems facing the nation, most Americans now agreed inflation was the most urgent.
We heard from President Biden last week call inflation his top domestic priority. And when you look at this new NBC News poll, you get a sense of why it is such an important political priority for the president.
Ain't nobody worried about no abortion. That's 10%, right? Voting rights, 12%. Jobs in the economy is 18%. Cost of living is 22%, right? So of them, that's 40%, right? I mean, I don't know why abortion is so damn high. The border should be up here some damn where. The border should be at least 15% or some shit like that, right? But they got the cost of living, jobs, and economy. You doing bad on all of them. Voting rights, you doing bad on abortion rights for the liberals. You doing bad on all this shit. Huh? No wonder his polls is going down. Just like Jimmy Carter. Ain't shit going right.
And that's because it's such a personal issue for so many voters.
Due to the surge in inflation, worker wages, despite rising 5.6% from a year ago, weren't keeping pace with the cost of living. No.
Inflation makes you doubt the future.
We saw that among moderate voters, 43% of them listed cost of living as their number one issue, their most important issue heading into the midterm election.
Food rose 1% for the month. 8.8% over the years. Prices for goods such as rice, ground beef, citrus fruits, and fresh vegetables all posted gains of more than 2% in March. Energy prices were up 11% and 32% respectively, as gasoline prices popped 18.3% for the month.
Do you understand? For the month, right? How that increase usually don't happen in a year. This happened in a month. And the next month, it was the same exact thing. It rose to 20 cents, right? So we're pulling these numbers on food and all our essentials in a month. These would be shocking for a year. You'd be like, damn, gas rose, nigga, a month. Energy prices rose 18% in a year? No, nigga, a month. Some energy prices don't rise in a whole fucking presidency, right? But this motherfucker rose 11% in 1 month. I don't remember Donald Trump raising 1% in his whole damn time in the office. This shit is crazy.
18.3% for the month.
You saw 38% of moderate voters listing jobs in the economy as their top issues.
As a top issue. Job and economy is a top issue. That's everybody's top issue. Job and the economy. Right? Because we're doing bad in both of them areas. Job and the economy. Right? He always talk about the unemployment, but or the high wages for the people that are just so happen to have them jobs. Because jobs are not plentiful, right? People got jobs and employees got to pay higher wages because it's less people that's trying to work. Free money.
You saw 38% of moderate voters listing jobs in the economy as their top issues.
Price gains in clothing, services, excluding energy and medical care, each which increased 0.6% for the month. Transportation services also rose 2%, bringing its 12-month gain to 7.7%.
When you have inflation, you don't see as much building going on. You don't see as much investment going on. You don't see as much hiring going on.
Soaring.
You don't see much shit going on during inflation. You don't see nothing going on, right? There's nothing going on. Like right now, everything is stagnated, right? Because prices are so damn high and the supply chain so messed up. Everything is stagnated.
You don't see as much hiring going on.
Soaring gas prices are forcing some Uber and Lyft drivers off the road. You can't, when prices for gasoline are going up almost 20% a month.
Look, I know you got to be frustrated. I know. I can taste it.
Ha! We can taste it too, nigga, but it's going to cost us a whole lot more. I know you are frustrated. I can taste it. Ain't that a bitch? We can taste it too. For 30% more. Everything is, a hot dog costs more to make. Everything costs more. The water costs more to boil. Everything. The propane costs more to fucking cook the hot dog. Everything done went up. Right? You talking about, look, on them little trucks, you know how much it is to burn propane? They got to pass that on to the customers. How much it is to buy condiments, ketchup, mustard, hot dogs, meat, bread. All that shit got to be passed down to the customers. Drink.
And the middle class is now being crushed by the highest gas and food prices in the history of our country. Can you believe it?
The prices that goods and services producers receive, like wholesalers, rose in March at the fastest pace since records have been kept.
Do you know how long that is? I don't know how long a record's been kept, but that got to be a long ass time. This nigga Joe Biden is breaking every record in the president record of world worst record holder in the world. Huh? He worse than any president ever. He worse than the Venezuelan president.
People weren't seeing their savings growing. And as a matter of fact, people were terrified that inflation would impoverish them in their old age.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported the Producer Price Index, which measures the prices paid by wholesalers, increased 11.2% from a year ago, the most in a data series going back to November 2010. On a monthly basis, the gauge climbed 1.4%, stripping out food, energy, and trade services. Although I don't know why you would strip out food and energy. That seems to me to be the biggest. So-called core PPI, or Producer Price Index, rose 0.9% on a monthly basis.
Monthly basis, y'all. And you have the millionaires, you have the top CEOs, you got business, you got bankers, you got investors saying it's not looking no good. It's not looking any better. They don't see any good horizon on they don't see anything good on the horizon. Fuck would Joe Biden come out there and say, right? These are the experts. You don't see no experts getting up there talking up for Joe Biden. The only experts you see talking for Joe Biden is the experts he got in his White House. Ain't no experts coming out for no banks or for no financial system or nothing like that speaking up for Joe Biden.
That's where you get the 10 or 11% on an annual basis. That's excluding food and energy.
Carter acted decisively. To reduce the budget deficit and bring inflation under control, he cut into social programs.
Supply chain crisis continues. We never had a supply chain crisis.
New realities, explained the White House, must temper our nation's commitment to the poor.
It stirred up a hornet's nest of opposition from the Ted Kennedy people, from the traditional FDR coalition.
Right? And Joe Biden, right, stirring up hatred towards the left, the liberals, the far left, the squad and all them. The same president with the same problems. By the playbook, by the handbook. I don't know who the worst president.
They were very, very angry.
The government has been spending too great a portion of what our nation produces.
My friends on the Republican side like to paint me as the big spender. But let's look at the facts. Facts matter.
During my campaign, I promised to cut the government share of our total national spending from 23%, which it was then, to 21% in fiscal year 1981.
They even brag about the same thing, right? They brag about the same thing. I lined it up perfect. They on here bragging about the same thing, the same federal cuts, the same federal programs, the same, I'm getting things back out of recession. I'm doing everything I can. They speech is the exact fucking same.
Under my plan, we're on track to cut the federal deficit this year by $1.7 trillion. Hear me now? This year by $1.7 trillion.
We now plan to meet that goal 1 year earlier. Reducing the deficit will require difficult and unpleasant decisions.
Reducing the deficit, right? Both of them talking about reducing the deficit, right? Reducing the deficit, right? They don't tell you how they reduce the deficit. Both of them reduce deficit different ways by getting rid of staff in different ways. Watch how they get rid of staffs, and you tell me who win this point. I think Joe Biden win this because this is the most racist shit I've ever heard, right? Since Joe Biden been in office, but black people is overlooking it. But Joe Biden should get about 5 points for this shit.
I've been upfront with the American people from the outset that there would be a cost here at home of Putin's decision to brutally and savagely invade a sovereign nation.
That's the same thing Jimmy Carter said. Same thing Jimmy Carter said.
We must face a time of national austerity. Hard choices are necessary if we want to avoid consequences that are even worse.
And look, I understand that families who are struggling probably don't care why the prices are up. They just want them to go down. Joe, what are you going to do to bring them down? But
I intend to make those hard choices. I have already vetoed bills that would undermine our fight against inflation.
Huh? Ain't they both talking about the bills they done passed and what they done to fight inflation and stuff like that, right? Joe Biden talking about inflation is good. At least Jimmy Carter say inflation is bad. Joe Biden talking about inflation is good is because it means the economy is coming back. People are spending. People have money to spend. Now, hell no. People are hurting. You're forcing people to spend more money. You're forcing people to buy more food and spend more money on food. That's why the economy is so-called booming, because people are spending more fucking money out of their savings.
And the Congress has sustained those vetoes.
Just signed a request to Congress for critical security, economic, and humanitarian assistance to help Ukraine continue to counter Putin's aggression.
Both of them talk about Congress. Congress need to act. Jimmy Carter talk about Congress. Joe Biden talk about Congress. The Congress need to act.
And at a very pivotal moment.
I know that the Congress will continue to cooperate in the effort to meet our needs in responsible, non-inflationary ways.
We need this bill to support Ukraine in this fight for freedom, and our NATO allies, our EU partners, they're going to pay their fair share of the cost as well, but we have to do this. We have to do our part as well.
Huh? Both of them talking about Congress need to do their part. I got Congress to have my back. Congress going to pass this money, huh? And put us further in inflation.
I will use the administrative and the budgetary powers of my office, including the veto if necessary, to keep our nation firmly on the path of fiscal restraint. Restraint involves tax policy as well as spending decisions. Tax reduction has never been more politically popular than it is today.
Huh? Tax reduction. Joe Biden been talking about taxing the rich and getting trillions of dollars before he was even president. When he was vice president, him and Barack Obama was talking about getting trillions of dollars. They had $1 trillion plan. They didn't just come up with this plan. They been had it. Huh? They got it straight from Jimmy Carter.
We're going to ask, yes, we're going to ask the wealthy to pay more. My heart breaks.
But if future tax cuts are made rashly, with no eye on the budget deficits, they will hurt us all by causing more inflation.
With no eye, huh? With no eye. They talking about the millionaires. Pay your taxes. He was talking about pay your fair share before Joe Biden, huh? This one, Joe Biden was vice president talking about pay your fair share and we're going to tax you. He was talking about this shit before he was president.
Come on, man. You know the phrase they always use? Obama and Biden want to raise taxes by $8 trillion.
There are tax cuts which could directly lower costs and prices and help in the fight against inflation.
Huh? What did Joe Biden say? I got things I'm going to do. The Lord, I can't help with the gas, but I'm going to do everything I can and cut costs of everyday living for Americans that fight this inflation. Same thing Jimmy Carter say, right out of the words of Jimmy Carter's mouth.
Guess what? Yes, we do in one regard.
Huh?
We want to let that $1 trillion tax cut expire so the middle class doesn't have to bear the burden of all that money going to the super wealthy. That's not a tax raise, right? That's called fairness.
Lying son of a bitch.
Where I come from.
I may consider ways to reduce those particular taxes while still cutting the budget deficit.
Huh? He's still talking about the budget deficit, right? Joe Biden talking about the budget deficit. We're going to end inflation, but we're going to lower the budget deficit. That's what I asked the niggas on the street, right? I'm asking niggas on the street, and I bet you, right? And this is my question tomorrow. I'm going to ask my niggas on the street, right? What program Joe Biden is offering about lowering inflation is going to help you more? Is it prescription drugs? Is it senior care? Is it is it lowering the debt deficit, or is it internet? Because remember, he was talking about, I'm going to get free people internet. I'm thinking about taking one of them out and talking about our solar power. What's one of them going to help you out? Solar power. I'm thinking about taking one of them out and put in solar power. Solar power. I'm taking out senior care, right? Senior care. Niggas ain't taking care of no old people, right? I was going to put child care, but fuck child care, right? Huh? Or lowering the debt. I'm going to take one of them out, you know what I'm saying, to make it. But I know ain't neither one of these people, things that Joe Biden is talking about he going to do to help inflation is helping these niggas in the hood. They not worried about child care. They're not worried about senior care. They're not worried about no damn diabetic medicine. They're not worried about no debt reduction, right? They're not worried about no damn internet, right? They worry about gas, jobs, and food. They're not worried about none of that shit Joe Biden talking about.
But until we have a convincing prospect of controlling inflation, I will oppose any further reductions in federal income taxes.
Well, according to a brand new story out in Politico, at least...
Right? Now, this is how both of them get rid of their so-called extra baggage inside of the White House. Right? Jimmy Carter at least kicked white people out, right? He kicked white people out. Everybody, I got to cut, it's going to be layoffs, right? So Jimmy Carter was laying people off, right? This nigga, Joe Biden, ran people off. He ran off all the niggas. Look at this. Joe Biden used all the niggas for his photo ops, right? Get him in the White House, right? Use them to get all the black people to love him and support him, and we know Joe and all this old shit, right? As soon as they get in the White House, he turned his back on all of them. All you sons of bitches that would never make it into a right position, right? We're going to get a couple of you people. We're going to get her over here in this position, right, as a Supreme Court judge. And we're going to get another lady as something else, I don't know, as vice president, right, and say she black. So y'all can't say we ain't done shit for black people. We got 2 black women in high position. The other motherfuckers don't get nothing.
21 black staffers have left their White House jobs since last year, or they're planning to leave very soon.
To keep the government to a manageable size, I'm ordering tonight a cut in federal hiring. This order will mean a reduction of more than 20,000 in the number of permanent federal employees already budgeted for this fiscal year.
In fact, there have been so many departures, some black aides have even adopted a term to describe it. Blaxit.
And will cut the total size of the federal workforce. I've already placed a 5.5% cap on the pay increase for federal employees, and federal executive officers are receiving no pay increases at all.
Nobody getting no pay increases, right? Joe Biden getting rid of the niggas. Jimmy Carter getting rid of everybody, supposedly, right? Stay tuned.
What's going on here, and what are the reasons that you got for why people are leaving the White House?
So I found that since late last year, at least 21 black staffers have left the White House or are planning to leave soon, as you said. And what we found, that started with Simone Sanders, who got an MSNBC show. And of course, there's varying reasons why anyone leaves a job. But from the current officials I talked to, 3 black current White House officials, they described it an atmosphere where they were not supported enough by superiors, that it was hard to get promoted.
You're not promoting no black. We promote a lot of other blacks. Ain't no more blacks getting promoted up in this White House. We already got our token niggas. Black people leaving like it's the plantation in droves. 21 already. It ain't been 2 years yet. That's 10 a year. Ain't that many white people left. The conditions in the White House for black people is uncomfortable. And these are Democrats. These are liberals. They making it uncomfortable for. A dream job will be to work in the White House. That's a hell of a resume. But you want to leave the White House and look for another job? I mean, come on. That has to be embarrassing. If somebody would leave the White House, and that's probably what they've been dreaming of doing their whole life, going to school for, right? Advocating for, and all that. They leave their dream job, right? In the White House with the best connections in the world to go to some other shit. Like, fuck it, I'd rather be an activist. Like, I ain't getting shit up in this White House anyway. I'd rather work for a director for NBC or something, I'd rather be a co-founder of Black Lives Don't Matter or some shit. Like, why is all these black people leaving in droves? There has to be some kind of racist shit if they feel uncomfortable. They're not getting promoted.
And they said it was kind of a tough work environment in terms of finding mentors for them.
Don't nobody want to talk to them. They can't find any mentors. They in the White House and they can't even get any mentorship. They treating these niggas worse than janitors. You were token niggas to make it look like everybody knows Joe. If you ain't black, you better vote for Joe. Your ass ain't black.
And they wanted to rise up a little bit in the White House. If you're starting at a junior level, then it's important that you kind of get those titles, you get more experience instead of, in a more junior role.
Your ass gonna be a junior forever, right? Black people was mad at Joe Biden for cutting out programs and not giving out promotions and shit like that. But Jimmy Carter, when he cut out all them social programs, right, for inflation, right, and cut out all that government hiring, who y'all think that affected? Social programs, government hirings, right? The new government hiring. That's when black people start first really getting into the damn White House. But he cut, right, the hiring for that, froze the hiring. Who did that affect? Black folks. And was the black folks mad at Jimmy Carter? Hell yeah.
African American leaders felt betrayed and vowed to wage an all-out fight on what they called Carter's immoral, unjust, and inequitable budget cuts.
The black caucus, it hurted black people, so that kind of go both ways right there, right? That's kind of a one-in-one situation, right? Because they both, right, cut the shit out of black people's jobs. They both cut the shit out of programming for black people and stuff like that to get promotions and hired and shit like that. Racist shit on both of them. So they both get a point on that one.
It's not enough just to control government deficits, spending, and hiring. We must also control the costs of government regulations. In recent years, Congress has passed a number of landmark statutes to improve social and environmental conditions.
Social and environmental conditions, right? Social and environmental conditions. Who run on that? Social and environmental conditions? No other than Joe Biden.
As you all know, just a short while ago, the United States Senate passed the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, the very legislation I ran on when I announced my candidacy for the nomination for president.
We must and we will continue progress toward protecting the health and safety of the American people.
A historic investment in the nation's roads and highways, bridges and transit and our drinking water systems and broadband, clean energy, environmental cleanup, and making infrastructure more resilient, and the climate crisis much more in our minds and how do we deal with it.
Huh? Same person. Climate. They both was in a recession like, we need to fight the climate change. We need to fight climate. Same person.
But we must also realize that everything has a price and that consumers eventually pick up the tab.
Huh? Who that sound like? Everything has a price and eventually consumers pick up the tab. Who that sound like? The big guy.
I've been upfront with the American people from the outset that there would be a cost here at home of Putin's decision to brutally and savagely invade a sovereign nation.
Where regulations are essential, they must be efficient.
This government debt, ladies and gentlemen, is over $30 trillion. When Biden took office, it was about $23 trillion. $30 trillion.
And he talking about he knocked it down by 1.5 trillion. You knocked it up 7 trillion, then you brag about knocking it down 1.5 trillion. Ain't that a bitch?
It's unimaginable. That percentage of the GDP we haven't seen since the height of World War II, and we are surpassing it in peacetime, relative peacetime. That's number one.
We're supposed to be at peace, and we're surpassing the budget and inflation at a time in war. Imagine if we go to war with China, what the inflation and the budget going to be.
Number two, the interest on this debt, as interest rates go up, as they must, because the currency is being devalued with inflation. As the interest rates go up, we have to pay the interest on this debt. This takes a bigger and bigger percentage of the federal budget.
Right? So not only do you have to pay the money off, you also have to pay the interest off that is going to be added in the years to come, right? Because interest is going to be added to that federal debt every single year. That debt ain't paid off. So now that couple of trillion going to multiply to a couple of more trillion, huh? Thank you, Joe Biden.
We haven't had high interest rates for over a decade. Now they're going to start to kick in. So you folks are going to see high inflation. You're going to start to see shortages. You're going to see costs going way up, supplies going way down.
Huh? That's only logical. Supply chain shortages, job shortages, high prices, high gas, low demand, people saving less money to float around. It's going to get bad.
Corey, instead of complaining about the Carter comparisons, here's a novel idea. Why not do something to undo those comparisons?
Guess what? Since 1938, the Republican 2-point lead on the generic congressional ballot is the best position for Republicans at this point in any midterm cycle in over 80 years.
Woo! Bobby Mayo, you heard that? Bobby Mayo, this is CNN, Bobby Mayo. What's up, Bobby Mayo? Coming in the chat with the donation. This is CNN talking Bobby Mayo. It's the best it's ever been in over 80 fucking years. Democrats is losing. I'm in the street and people are turning their back. Black people especially turn their back on the Democrats, right? They don't give a damn no more. They proudly support Trump now. They coming out the bushes.
My estimate for the 2023 House makeup, if the election were held today, which again, it isn't, we still have 5 months from tomorrow, would be Republicans 236 seats to 241 seats, Democrats 194 to 199.
That is a stomping, or that would be a stomping.
Yes.
You hear that, Bobby Mayo? It would be a stomping. Hopefully, like, well, what happened if my something would happen at a club and my baby mom was a trip and people were trying to get out the door, right? A stomping like that, right? Hopefully, it would be that type of stomping. I'm hoping for that type of stomping.
Yes, it would. And yes, of course, it's Biden who's the drag.
In 1962, the president's approval rating, JFK's, was 71%. Bill Clinton in 1998, it was 63%.
And specifically, stop with the free money, which drives inflation. Everybody knows that, seemingly, except the Biden administration.
Joe Biden's is just 41%. Why is his approval rating so low? Well, I think this slide will give you the answer.
Right? Bush up 25, right? The old Bush up 9, Trump up 6, Clinton up 2, Obama up, Biden down, Obama down -6, Reagan down -15, Carter down I can't see his hand, but Joe Biden down -26. The worst net approval rating on the economy ever.
This is the net approval rating on the economy at this point in the presidency. Joe Biden's -26 points. That is the lowest, tied for lowest for any president in the last 40 plus years.
Huh? Tied with who? Jimmy Carter. Ha! The same person.
And start drilling. Start drilling now.
So for so many people, these economic issues are top of mind when they go to the gas station, when they go to the grocery store, and when they look at the price of housing. And in our conversations with voters here in this county, you get a sense of why it's so personal for them.
Help the American people get oil out of their own country.
I think the money that is left in our wallets at the end of the day, with inflation and everything going on, and we paid an insane amount of taxes last year. So I think I'd like to know what candidate's going to be in our favor.
Trump, the Republicans are in your favor. Huh? You see the Democrats ain't in your favor. They'd have been done some shit. They had 2 years. And you've been hurting ever since.
And not have to import it from, friends like Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and bad actors like that.
Inflation, that's going to be your top issue. Why?
Gas prices are out of control and everything that comes along with the supply chain issues.
Well, you're exactly right, Todd. I mean, this president has taken no responsibility for anything that he's done.
The gas prices, of course, is outrageous. Everybody's complaining about the gas. Like, it used to take $25 to fill my car up. Now it takes $35. This is a little car. So, yeah, inflation is really something that we need to fix as well.
Triple the price on your gas. That's hella. That is hella I'm finna catch the bike next time I go do some promoting around this summer, bitch, right? Just to say the gas. Huh? It's ridiculous. 3 times the amount.
As you know, I was over in Afghanistan helping to try and pull out Americans whenever Joe Biden said that this was the greatest airlift operation ever.
We're worried about everybody else's problems, but we're not fixing our problems in the house.
He tried to say that every one of the Americans that are still there want to be there. This is the guy who's blaming all the gas hikes, all the inflation, the shortage on baby formula.
I'm also on Putin. Everything on Vladimir fucking Putin. Everything.
Sending to Congress a comprehensive package of that will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy and the guys who are the kleptocracies.
That's your president. You voted for him. You got what you voted for.
Everything that's in short supply, everything where inflation is going through the roof, where the currency is being debased by deficit spending, it's on Putin. Look, Putin's a monster.
Our poll also showing that 65% of Americans feel as if they're falling behind when they compare their income to the cost of living. And that's why in a place like Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County, one that has been trending more moderate in recent years, that's why you have Republicans here feeling as if they have the wind at their backs.
The hell yeah, they got the winds at their back, right? You got Democrats, right? You got Democrats are not doing anything. They steady complaining. Oh, we are victims. And they're still talking about racism. People getting tired of that shit, right? People's pockets are hurting. And y'all still talking about racism and shit like that, right? People are turning their back on the Democratic Party. All they shit is backfiring on them. All that free money they supposedly been giving out, people don't give a fuck about that free money no more. All that shit, they hurting right now. They paying that free money back triple the time. They never have to worry about that under Donald Trump.
because the economy is the big issue for so many people, and it's just not an area where they're feeling very confident.
Hell no, they not feeling very confident. Right? But that's my show because I'm finna hit the street and I'm finna hit the club, right? And I'm finna ask some niggas at the club what they think about inflation, right? I got not a show tonight, but I'm finna hit a club and somebody invited me to a club, so it'd be the perfect spot to finish the rest of my videos about inflation and what real niggas think about inflation. So I'll be ready for my video on Friday. Because, I can't, the January thing coming up, right? And they're not gonna let you really do no opinions on the January thing, right? Because, right, they're gonna consider that false information or misinformation, right? So I gotta see what I can and cannot talk about because you can't disagree with anything they say. You can't disagree with no evidence because, remember, I just recorded a video, right? I didn't even put it up. I didn't even post it. I recorded a video off of YouTube. I didn't even edit it yet, right? And they flagged me, right, for downloading the video talking about that, right? So, right, if I do that, I probably have to put it up on Rumble or something like that, right? Because I don't want to put it up on this channel right here and then they mess around and flag my channel for talking about misinformation and causing whatever they want to cause, because YouTube algorithm and they real picky on what you can and cannot talk about, right? You can watch it, you know what I'm saying? You can talk about it. You can go against Trump and you can call people terrorists and you can call people Nazis and white supremacists and you can call a Republican liar. You can go anything you want to on Donald Trump, right? Because the Democrats say this is the truth, say this is what's happening, right? But if you defend Donald Trump on anything on that day, right, you consider an insurrectionist, a white supremacist, right? I mean, adding fuel to the flames of the fire, whatever, right? So you got to be real tricky on that, right? I don't know too many conservatives. I mean, I want to see how conservatives talk about it, right, before I do a video on it, because if somebody a page get flagged, they page got to get flagged first, damn it. Then I'm going to see what they can talk about, how they get away with it. Then I'm going to try to do something with it, right?